guys, PJ back here again with a review for Project Cars 2. As a long-term player of Project Cars 1 and also quite a lot of time in Forzas, etc., I thought I'd give this game a shot. It certainly deserved a shot. The original game was very PC focused. In fact, the intro menu UI layout was appalling if you were trying to use it on a console. This one seems a lot better. Now, available on, PS4, Xbox One and PC. Prices do vary very slightly. We've got $49.99 for the Xbox version, which is HDR. So if you've got a HDR TV, you will see the benefit of that. It's also $49.99 on the PS4. It has a normal version and a Pro version, which I'll dabble into a little bit later on. And the PC version, well, what did I get for that? Well, we got $44.99 on Steam as a direct purchase, but if you go to one of the grey market key sellers, I won't name any, it's about £35. So you've got your choice there. Okay, that's for the digital, of course. Retail will, change quite a lot from shop to shop. A lot of options on this compared to the original. The original was very multiplayer centric. On this one, as you can see, we have a career mode, a proper career mode. The original Project Cars, you were free to dive into whatever car you wanted, whatever track you wanted, and start from there. This is different. This has a progression system. Admittedly not like the Forzas of the world, but it is, from what I've gathered so far, very good. Okay, so you got your new driver and you work your way through progressively. Now, if we just switch over to some quick gameplay, we have quite a difference with the tracks. Now, this is the only game I know of that does this. The tracks are a living virtual track. In other words, anything from temperature to climate to overall height of what the track's position will affect the way your car drives and handles. So in other words, like track temperature will affect your tyres, how fast to warm up. If you're racing at a higher altitude, it will affect the engine's responsiveness. So they are quite literally a living, breathing world. Now that's something that's not been done so far to my knowledge. Project Cars 1 certainly didn't have that. The game still features all your standard weather that you had in Project Cars 1. So every single track can have fully adaptive weather and can have 4 slots for various weather types throughout your race. So for example, like here, we could start on a nice sunny day. We've set the time of day on this one to 4 o'clock start. You can set it to whenever you wish, or night time for that matter. And you can also alter the speed that the time progression goes through. So in other words, you can have it right up to 60 times, which is what I've done here. So time will tick by very quickly and you will change, to night time. As you can see, I've now got it going into rain, which is one of my second settings. I put it to rain, basically thunderstorm settings. Obviously racing in those conditions is not easy. This was my first time out with the NSX, and I feel I dropped myself in the deep end because it was very tail happy in the wet, as you can see, and didn't go down too well. So as well as the sun and the rain and storm settings, there's something new added here. You've also got snow and ice. Now, snow and ice, very difficult to race on, but looks wise, in my opinion, doesn't cut it. If you go to external view of the car, which you will see later on in this video, the snow looks more like volcanic ash settling on the car. It didn't quite work. It wasn't really there, in my opinion. But it is different, and it's something that none of the other games offer. As for the realisticness of the game, yes, you can have tyre wear, pit stops. You've got an on-hand tuning guy telling you how to tune your car and set it up. Now that was quite nice. He's like a proper, pit person that will tell you how to go, your own engineer as it were. Very useful facility, because obviously if you don't know anything about cars and you want to play a racing game well against other people, that will come into its own. So as I said earlier on, I'd show you the external view of the snow effect, looking a bit like volcanic ash. This is what I'm getting at. I mean, it's obviously meant to be wet snow because the track at the moment, is very wet, but I feel the scattering effect there. Look at the bonnet, a little bit off, not quite as I was expecting it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of heat from the bonnet on a car, so for it to settle on a car in mid-race with 2 turbochargers on this Skyline, Yeah, I don't really think that's appropriate, do you? But there you go, there's your snow dash volcanic ash effect in full force. Yeah, okay, let's move on. As for the different versions of the game, some versions fare better than others, which is fairly obvious. Xbox One S or Xbox One, unfortunately, is bottom of the pack. It's 864p to, let's have a look, 972p. It's dynamic resolution. Now the thing is, this game is meant to run at 60 frames per second. It's a racing simulator, and the Xbox can drop down to 35 frames per second. Now if you're thinking none of that worries me, I just want to play games, well, it should with a racing game or simulation, because it's how fluid and how fast it responds to your input. So if the game's meant to run at 60 frames per second and it's dropping down to 35, it's not racing smoothly, it's not nice. Okay, so a bit of a negative there, I'm afraid, for the Xbox One and Xbox One S. It's not nice. It also looks fuzzy because of the lower resolution. PS4, again 864 but to 1080p, so it scales up a little bit better. Drops down to about 45 frames per second. Again, not ideal, to be completely honest with you. The original Project Cars ran really poorly on the consoles because it was designed really for decent PCs, and this one, although better, not much better. PlayStation 4 Pro, dynamic again. It goes from 1360p to 1440p. Holds 60 frames per second, not a problem. Features higher quality shadows, and it also improves the drawing. In other words, the amount of distance on the track you will see objects appear. So that version is fine, very good. You know, if you're paying the same amount of money for one or the other and you have an Xbox One S and a PlayStation 4 Pro, go for the PlayStation 4 Pro version. PC, well, that will depend on how good your PC is. It seems to scale well. It goes for anything from 3GB card realistically upwards for graphics cards. It does say 2GB, but I'd say 3 to run it nicely. It scales well. You'd have to try it on your own hardware. Not everybody runs a £1,000 rig. You know, some people run really cheap old rigs, sort of £400 worth. It's a case of try it and see. Try and get it cheaply or whatever, or wait for a sale maybe if your rig's a bit old and you're worried about it. Obviously it runs all the way up to 4K on PC, and frame rate, well, it's up to you. It goes as high as you want, sort of thing. The game features HDR, as I touched on earlier on. Console implementation on this isn't bad. The reason I'm saying isn't bad is because if, like me, you've just played the Forza 7 demo, you'll realise how good HDR can be in a racing game. That is the epitome, that is fantastic. This game is okay. It does it, but not fantastically, okay? I believe the game will get patched to some degree. Hopefully they'll include, you know, performance patches for the Xbox and PlayStation 4. It does need it, you know, that would be nice. As for variety, it can't be beat. It's certainly got tons more than the Forza game, with all the weather and everything. Actual tracks and everything, it's got a decent selection. What we got? We got 180 different cars to choose from, 140 different tracks in 60 locations across the world. So, you know, that's quite something. That's quite a big game. Now, the only game I can't comment on yet is GT Sport, because unfortunately I didn't get invited into the beta to try it out, and obviously it's not released yet. Word on the grapevine is though that it's very content shy and it's too focused on multiplayer. We will see when it comes out. And of course the other negative is you can't buy it on Xbox, you'll have to go Forza. I suppose it comes down to then, should you buy this game? Well, the graphics are very good on the right machine. The sound effects have certainly improved over Project Cars 1. There's no music in the game. That's not really a negative, is it? Because you could run Spotify on PC, PS4 or Xbox One now in the background with your own playlist, and use your phone as a remote control to change the music while you're running your own playlist. So it's not really an issue. Should you buy the game? Well, on a Pro or a PC, yes, without a doubt. I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. I like racing games. It's an 8 out of 10 on both those devices. No problem there. Xbox One faring the worst, and that's basically because the performance on it is awful. So, you know, that and the PlayStation 4 only getting a 7 out of 10. Wait for a sale, a big sale, before you buy it on the base level consoles. That's my opinion on this. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now, guys.